Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on Stargirl, and this will be my review for Stargirl Season 1, Episode 2, titled Stripe. But before I do the review, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way, or DC Universe content, or Stargirl content. The reason I'm reviewing from the DC Universe side and not the CW side is because DC Universe has more content on it. So that is why, if I did it for the CW one, then I won't be able to talk about those I mean, I could still do it, but it would just make more sense if I talked about in the DC Universe thing. Because as you guys know, CW do remove parts of the episodes, so if it's their 14-minute time slot. Obviously, spoiler alert, in case you guys haven't caught up with Stargirl or haven't watched this episode, you have been warned. Okay, so this episode kicks off with the robot Stripe telling Courtney that she shouldn't have used the staff, and we have the sick shot of the Stripe suit, and this is the first time it was ever used, so let's just say that it isn't in the best quality, as it keeps malfunctioning, if you want to call it. But we do have Pat escort Courtney to safety, and we have this gothic shot of Brainwave. This guy is just so scary, and he has Courtney's school card, but it's burnt, so he can't tell who it is. Apart from the fact that it is a girl that is blonde-haired and curly, and Pat takes Courtney to this secret workplace where he hides his Stripe suit. And he tells Courtney that the suit is made out of car parts, and he tries to find out more about the person who attacked Courtney, in which he then finds out that the person attacking Courtney was actually Brainwave. He was responsible for the member of many JSA members, for example, Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Now, there is this recurring thing in this episode where Courtney believes that Starman is her father, and she asks if it was Brainwave who killed Starman, because she's acting like this hero and wants to bring those people who destroyed the JSC to justice. But it was Pat reveals to Courtney that it was Icicle who killed Starman and is the leader of the Injustice Society of America as well. But yeah, Courtney notices that it's no coincidence that the Injustice Society are in Blue Valley with Pat, so she wants to know what's going on without any secrets that Pat is hiding. We then cut to Councilman William Zarek's house, and his son wakes him up because apparently there's someone who entered the house. So he tells his family to stay in the room while he investigates who's there. So he unlocks the safe from that secret portrait behind the portrait, and he pulls out a wand. So I'm like, okay, this is the wizard then. And we find out that it was Brainwave who snuck into the house. Now the two talk about this new Starman, and how the staff is with her, and that they need to alert the others. And we also find out that the wizard is the leader of the ISA when Icicle isn't around. So Henry said he didn't go up to him first, because what the wizard would do is that he would just grab his family and run away. And Henry knew how he operated, which is why he warned Icicle at first. So these two aren't really in the best of terms. Courtney and Pat are then in the basement, and Courtney finds out more about the Injustice Society, and it's actually revealed that our man actually survived the attack. Him and Pat are on this investigation about the Injustice Society, but they lost track, so Pat thought that the Injustice Society vanished, but turns out that they're actually in Blue Valley. And we find out that Pat built, Stripe so he could assist our man, but he never had the chance to use it until that night where he had to save Courtney. Now, it was also revealed that the Injustice Society do have a plan in Blue Valley, and I'm very interested to see who it is, and I'm also interested to see if it's the entire Injustice Society that's the main villain for this season. But yeah, we then have Courtney, who's all about that, like, superhero stuff, and she's trying to stop Brainwave and wants to make herself a costume to hide her identity while she's using the cosmic staff. But Pat doesn't like the idea that, she's going out playing all hero and stuff, and he bans Courtney from using the staff, as he is this, like, overprotective stepfather. And Pat wants to take care of this business alone. And we also do have like a mini argument with Pat and Courtney, with Pat, like, sitting on the sidelines, if you want to call it, and making Courtney do the same. We have Pat going to that basement, and he's going to do, like, his checkup on Brainwave's files. And then we do have like the dog enter the basement as well. He's like, okay, we're prepping for war. But we then get the sequence where Pat is training with the striped suit, and certain parts of the suit start malfunctioning. So we get these like transitions between him training and him rebuilding the parts of the suit to make it the best as he could, obviously, since he has to face off the Injustice Society. But then the suit ended up punching itself at one point, so Pat is bruised pretty badly. And I have to say, this scene was hilarious. But another hilarious scene was then when we cut to this breakfast scene where Courtney's mother notices the bruises on both Pat and Courtney's faces. I love the scene so much where both of them just use the same excuses, where they say they fell down the basement stairs. But we then have Courtney going down the basement a while later, and she steals Starman's suit. And this is obviously so she can, use the suit and essentially craft her own version of the Starman suit, well, in terms of her Stargirl suit. And we then cut to Brainwave's house, and we see the bully steal money from his father. But oh my god, this guy is just so scary. He's still overly intrigued with the person who has the staff and wants to just, like, make sure that if it's male or female. He does actually use his powers on his son as well, which is just creepy. But yeah, Henry finds out that the attacker was indeed a girl, and then he forces his son to try and, like, read him. So I think this is to see, like, if his brainwave powers probably, like, transferred to his son as well. So at some point his son could probably take up the mantle, who knows. But his son asks him if he could take him to school. That's what happens, but he does also warn that his son shouldn't steal from family, as the son stole money from his father. But we then cut to school, and Courtney sneaks into the arts and crafts room where she takes Starman's suit and she starts crafting her own version and makes her own suit from it. And Courtney ends up destroying all the machines when manufacturing her own costume, which was hilarious. But yeah, she now has her own costume, but those machines, they're destroyed. Now we do then have the scene in Courtney's mother's workplace. Now I don't want to talk about it that much, but essentially, like, they're thinking of ways where they could make the city better, and the boss is actually a member of the Injustice Society. I don't know who it is, but I am very interested to see what the Injustice Society's endgame is. We then have this lunch scene where Courtney sits in the loner table again, but this girl is having lunch virtually with her parents, which was quite weird. But we do have Brainwave enter as well. And like we do see Brainwave through that girl's mother's camera. And while Courtney is being introduced, Henry's actually searching for the blonde curly hair girls. So yeah, I just thought that was a cool scene. But then Henry hears about an open house party, so obviously he's going to attend it to find who he's looking for. Now in the open house party, Courtney was looking for Henry. Courtney and Pat were looking for Henry, and Henry was doing the same as well. But also we did have the wizard as Councilman Zetti over there as well. In terms of how Brainwave finds Courtney, essentially Courtney finds him and he just senses it. So like Courtney just shouts out, "Oh, it's Brainwave." And Brainwave just, like, hears it with his mind and follows after Courtney like that. And he threatens Courtney by saying that if she doesn't bring the staff, then her mother will suffer the worst pain possible, and she has till midnight to surrender the staff. And Courtney actually wants to face off Brainwave because of what obviously happened to her father, Starman. and the JSA. So she wants to give justice to those. And this then leads to Courtney telling Pat about this, and they grab the mother and just leave the school in rush. But at Courtney's house, Courtney is ready to face off Brainwave, as she wants justice for what the ISA did to the JSA and Starman. But Pat insists, and he says that he will be the one facing off Brainwave, and if he doesn't return by morning, Courtney's family should leave Blue Valley for good. And he gives a very emotional goodbye, as he is being the father figure to Courtney, which was pretty nice. He's about to be a hero as he goes to suit up, and this just sounded so intense, especially with like the music and stuff. And we then have Courtney in the house, and she's crying due to Pat's last words, I believe. And she has this nice talk with her mother as well about getting along with Pat, and their relationship really has built up since the first episode. We then have Pat arrive as Stripe, and he faces off Brainwave, but Brainwave is literally destroying Pat, and like he's no match for Brainwave. Like he just gets sandwiched by two buses. But Courtney obviously can't bear the threat that Brainwave gave about her mom and Pat's sacrifice as well. So she suits up, grabs the cosmic staff, and is heading to where Pat is, which is the school. And in terms of the suit, I've commented on it before, it's really, really cool. And the effects for the staff, just wow, again, is just amazing. So we have Courtney fly with the cosmic staff, and then we get this phenomenal fight scene between Stargirl and Brainwave, where again the staff pretty much does all the work for her, but she's like, just dodging the things that Brainwave is throwing at her. Brainwave does manage to capture Courtney at one point with one of the things he threw, and the staff is far away from Courtney, so she can't reach to it. And we do also have Brainwave torturing Courtney as well with his Brainwave powers, in which Courtney, while screaming in pain, Pat uses the lights from the suit to almost blind Brainwave, and this allows Courtney to reach for the staff, and she gets hold of the staff and she creates this force field which reverses the move, and she takes down Brainwave like that. Now Brainwave is hospitalized, and if you're asking me, he will probably die because he is seriously injured. So one Injustice Society member is down, and there are a lot more to go. But we then head back to Pat's secret area, in which Courtney and Pat have a talk about the cosmic staff, and we get the reveal that it's built by Ted Knight, who is actually the first Starman. And they talk about how they took Brainwave down, and they'll do the same for the other ISA members as well, in which Pat returns as a sidekick again, as he's now Stargirl's sidekick. They do also talk about the possibility that Courtney is actually the daughter of Starman, so I am very interested to see where that storyline goes. And Courtney does give Stripe to Pat as a new nickname, because Stripesy sounds lame, which stands for Subatomic Tactical Robot Internet Pat Enhancer, which is what she called it. And their relationship for this episode got a lot better in both ways, so as a stepdad and daughter relationship, and friendship as well, which is great. And they're finally in good terms, and they're after the next ISA members. But we do have this man entering this gothic looking area, and we see that it's Icicle entering the ISA hideout. And we do also encounter Salman Grundy in this cage as well. I just cannot wait to see him properly. He looks badass from just what we've seen of him so far. But then they go to their normal Justice League looking, table and chairs. And Jordan, aka Icicle, is with another guy. And that guy is Courtney's mother's boss, I think. And they find out about Stargirl and how she is the one that defeated Brainwave. So the ISA is being reformed again, and they are after Stargirl. And I just can't wait to see what's next. But wow. I'm loving this show so much. It's just so good, and this episode was great. Again, I would give it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.